place where you have a voice, a station where we basically reflect your need, reflect your wants, reflect what you actually want, not just want what you want to hear, but we dissect issues objectively as possible. And it's also a station, definitely, where we get to take note of your reaction and your recommendation to the conversations that we actually share on this platform. My name is Esther Wachuku. The Evening Rush is a program where we get to talk about topical issues that trended in the course of the day. Issues that actually generated quite the conversation. Issues that possibly were misinterpreted when Nigerians were having different opinions about it. But right here with our analysts in their different educational capacity, they get to give us their insight into what they think about it. And obviously at the end of the day or towards the end of the program, you give us your own informed perspective based on how we have comprehensively broken down things here on this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, you may say that this is obviously the political season, and you would ask yourself, why is it that anytime you tune into a television station or a radio station, they're literally speaking about politics or persons in the political sphere? Okay, so here is the thing. Governance is politics. Your private life too, there is politics. Where you work, there is politics. Okay? A situation where you internally think, strategize on how best to diplomatically handle issues, how best to diplomatically resolve issues, how best to negotiate, have a conversation. It's all politics. So it just depends on the type or style of politics that you're playing. There's politics in governance. There's politics in administration. But if politics has the people's interest at the center, definitely that's a beautiful politics. But if politics does not have the interest of the people at the center, but for certain personal interests of the persons involved, then that is not politics at all. Or I wouldn't call that an interesting politics. I would call it self-serving politics. Just possibly using your influence to utilize the resources of the generality of the people to yourself and to your cronies. So you may just wonder every time where we're always discussing and always infusing politics into it. Politics literally exists in every sector of our lives. And if we're going to be discussing governance, politics has a huge role to play. Why is that so? Supposedly, Nigeria's democracy practices multi-party system. Okay? Now, in the multi-party system, obviously each party has their tenets, their manifesto and constitution. Anybody within that particular political party needs to reflect the blueprint of the party in whatever position they occupy. The blueprint will have to look into if at all they emerge to win in the national level or at the state level. Based on what the party manifesto is all about, they have to replicate it. Replicate it in how they go about their governance, replicate it with how they go about administration, replicate it with how they go about development. That is basically why it is called politics in every sector or in every segment of the Nigerian polity. So that is what it entails. So when it comes to budgeting, when it comes to budget implementation, when it comes to allocation, when it comes to giving out contracts, the persons to give out contracts, individuals to handle projects, all these are individuals within the political sphere who are in charge of this. In other words, politics, it makes our leaders emerge as president, as governor, as minister, as senators, House of Rep members. Every of this emerges from all the political shenanigans, political strategizing, where they eventually infuse you. Where you come in is where they need you to vote, where they sell you their party ideologies, then you vote them in power. Now it is left for us to hold them responsible to those ideologies that they tell us during their campaign, ideologies that represent the party's tenets, you know, when they get to that leadership position. So yes, I need you to understand that politics is also governance. Okay, so when your politics and when your party manifesto, which is supposed to have as its intricate intricate spine, or what sets the platform for the party, is not for the people as you had said during your campaign, then it means that you're reeling off the radar, you're reeling off your party manifesto, you're going against your party constitution, and you are falling short of your responsibility to the people that voted you based on what you told them during the campaign. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need us to get it right that every aspect of life is politics. It depends on how we look at things and the angle through which things, or the lens through which issues are analyzed. Once again, I officially welcome you to the conversation this evening. All right, we stream on YouTube. So it's an audio visual conversation. You can join us on YouTube. We're currently streaming live at VOP 903 FM. VOP 903 FM. Ladies and gentlemen, I officially welcome you. So a lot actually transpired today. First of all, the president has said there will be no military parade tomorrow. Normally, during Democracy Day celebrations, we do all of this military parade. We even see some students at the capital city, which was either Lagos or Abuja, but now it's in Abuja. You see a select school and your students do a march past. All of these parades are beautiful and it's pretty. In fact, most schools are compelled to celebrate Democracy Day. Unfortunately, since this administration came on board, Democracy Day has been done low-key. In 2023, the president said it was going to be done low-key. Tomorrow, however, the president said there'll be no military parade. However, there's going to be something quite different. What is different is the fact that the president will be at the Senate 12 noon. That is what the inter-ministry has actually disclosed to us. You know, the Interior Ministry and the Ministry of the Federal Capital Territory told us will be the schedule for tomorrow. So after the 7 o'clock national broadcast that will be done by the president, then obviously at 12 noon, you know, he'll be at the Senate. Now, we are expecting a couple of activities to take place there. So maybe that is why the military parade is not holding off. Officially tomorrow, Nigeria's democracy in this country will be 26 years. And now the question is, ever since we began officially in 1999, where have we gotten to? There have been different definitions about the kind of democracy we practice here. Some persons even say that we're not practicing democracy. They've called it a couple of things. They've called it militocracy, autocracy, different forms of government that they say we practice. But officially, Nigeria's kind of democracy is a hybrid. Yes, it's a hybrid, an auto, supposed flexible kind of democracy. That's what we practice. We have a long way to go in our democratic practices. We're going to be looking into that in the course of the conversation this evening. So remember, yesterday we discussed it. Now, leadership has always been the problem in this part of the world. But do we hold our leaders accountable? And when we hold our leaders accountable, do they respect us to respond to our cries and to our queries? Well, that's actually another segment that we want to delve into. For example, a couple of Nigerians are not happy with this administration, but a couple of persons feel that we need to give the administration time. 2 years is too short. But they're reverting back to what the president said, that he was going to kick the ground running, and he obviously knew what to do to resuscitate our economy, to build more infrastructure, which was part of the renewed hope agenda. Work on education, that was the president's priority. Alleviate poverty, that was the president's priority in the renewed hope agenda. He also talked about easing of transportation, creating an opportunity for ease of doing business. All right, these are basically the campaign promises. So 2 years after, what can we say the president has been able to implement in that regard? Now, fuel subsidy was removed. Where are the process of fuel subsidy going? If the governors have been given increased FAC allocation, what exactly is the problem that we're still experiencing? Hunger in certain sectors, unemployment, some educational practices are not something that they consider as a priority in terms of refurbishing of their educational establishment. Insecurity has continued to persist. The president said he was really going to work on insecurity because that's what we complained about during the previous administration. 2 years after, it seems to have gotten worse. So is the insecurity politicized? Are the lives of persons, are the lives of innocent Nigerians paid for whatever shenanigans certain politicians are thereafter? Then thirdly, the politics that kind of changed the dynamic from 2023, the kind of relationship Nigerians have been able to either build or have destroyed because of their different political ideologies and their preferences towards their leaders. You have the support base of each of their principles. So based on the support, has it united us further or separated us further, widened the net further? Well, I will tell you that for the past 2 years, this administration has experienced quite a number of dramatic turns. A lot of dramatic activities have actually taken place in this dispensation. For example, Adams Oshomole actually held passengers at the airport today at a ransom, literally leaving them stranded. What happened? So, for example, Adams Oshomole was supposed to come for his flight for, I think, 6:30 a.m., but the flight left 10 minutes earlier at 6:20. Ideally, I and you, if we want to travel to any other state, what do? If your flight is for 6:30, you obviously be at the airport by 2:05. Do all you need to do Get yourself settled down. When it's time they call in, you go. You can never determine. Unfortunately, most times at the airport, the flight disappoints. They delay a lot of times. They actually do not go when they're supposed to go. But the 6:30 a.m. flight actually did not disappoint, and they left 10 minutes before time. Now, Adams Oshiomhole came in by 6:30 a.m. and was, asking the staff, why did you leave before time? And so he barricaded the road. All the passengers couldn't be attended to, and that was where the ruckus started. So the question is, do politicians really feel and see what Nigerians go through, and do they expect some kind of special treatment when it comes to them? So possibly he expected the flight to wait up for him. You know that you're going with a commercial flight. You're not going with a private jet. You ought to have gotten to the airport on time. Well, APC has actually responded via their X handle, where they accused Adams Oshiomhole of assaulting their staff and forcibly shutting down the Zulu terminal at the General Aviation Terminal after missing his scheduled flight to Abuja. So according to APC, Adams Oshiomhole arrived at the Zulu Hall of the terminal at 6:10 a.m., just 20 minutes before the scheduled 6:30 a.m. departure of flight P47120 to Abuja. By that time, the airline said boarding had already closed and the flight departed as scheduled in line with its on-time departure policy. If a lot of you travel a lot, you know that the morning flight, they don't like to delay it. 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. Any other flight schedule that comes up later in the day, they may delay it. Some certain instances, the morning flight is delayed, but most times that morning flight always picks up. So if you know you're flying out as early as 7 o'clock or 6:30 thereabout, you see most persons rushing to the airport as early as 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. to meet up with their 7 o'clock flight. So basically, what happened was that Adams Oshiomhole was seen in a viral video obstructing the Zulu terminal at the General Aviation Terminal. So APC said that it had to activate a contingency plan, redirecting affected passengers through an alternate terminal to ensure uninterrupted travel. Interesting, right? Okay, we'll look into that as well. Now, in the case of Natasha Akpoti, the court has struck out the appeal filed by the Senate president and said that she should be paid 100,000 naira. So they restrained the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions from taking disciplinary action against Senator Natasha Akpoti Dwagan. So the motion was dated March 20 and 25, 2025, and they were withdrawn by Akpabio's legal team and they were struck out by the appellate court. If you had listened to the World News at 6, you'd have actually heard that comprehensive breakdown, which was done by Barrister Fred Nzako. So another thing is concerning Shagun Showi. So there are different snippets of what Shagun Showi said. So Shagun Showi recently visited the president. I'm sure you heard it yesterday evening. Like I said, everything, whether you like it or not, is politics is obviously involved. And when he went to visit the president, he was gushing afterwards. The first television station that actually interviewed Shagun Showi was actually Channels Television. So in that particular instance, Shagun Showi gave a lot of encomiums to the president and said the president is actually amazing. And then later on, he had another interview, I think that same night, yesterday night, with Arise Television on their primetime show, and quite a lot was actually unraveled there. He called out Peter Obi, said Peter Obi is a disappointment. He wasn't expecting Peter Obi to join or become a VP to Vice President Atiku Abubakar. In the same vein, he also said that if the president had asked, if he had gone, as he went to meet the president, if the president had asked him to come and work for him, he obviously would have agreed, because in their culture, when an elder asks you to do something, you do it. And so the anchor asked him, are you not a Pan-Africanist? Because you're beginning to sound like you're a Southwestern politician. And he says, well, if some certain persons during the 2023 elections, a particular region gave an overwhelming vote to a presidential candidate, why wouldn't he toe the same line? I mean, why wouldn't he do the same? And why, if he does the same, why does it mean that he's not a Pan-Africanist? Well, let's listen to Shagun Showi, where he said, if at all it comes to the point where he needs to actually, if he would leave the PDP, the likelihood is he may join the APC or he may work for the president. So let's listen to him here.
Right. Looking at my state where I come from, looking at my tribe and their own desires and my people, there's a very, very strong possibility that I will more than likely leave.
And if you left, it would be to the APC.
I can't, you see, listen.
I'm just trying to get you straight.
Yeah, you're good.
Right.
If I delayed because I thought someone else will show me signs that they can not just want to win an election, but run the country.
Right, because you started off this conversation by trying to essentially say that there is nothing more that emerged out of your meeting beyond your being incredibly impressed by
post-meeting, I've been very disgusted.
Because one of the people who know you from way back, Emanuel Showore, in a Facebook post accused you of doublespeak and of always being self-serving. He said you reached out to him after the 2023 election and that you expressed dissatisfaction with Nigeria's direction and that you proposed a unified front against President Tinubu, but that he always knew, his words, not mine, he always knew that you wouldn't be able to maintain your resolve when facing off against the Tinubu regime.
Thank you.
Especially when you spy an opportunity. What's your reaction to that?
Did you not read my reaction to the Showore comment?
No, I want you to tell me your reaction.
Charles, you read wherever you saw that document, that comment, you saw my reaction. If you want this and you want to take the reaction I wrote, your business. But let me just say this. I do not believe that the concept of opposition is daydreaming and building castles in the sky that don't work.
Right.
I don't believe that either Wole, Yele, myself, or any of the Yoruba people will be reasonable to think in a political zone country we should be dreaming and taking the peace by saying that when a Yoruba man is in charge, any other person can try to challenge him and win. It would be ridiculous for the Yorubas to say, oh, Bala Shariton president will take 4 years, and then the Yorubas will want a fresh 4 years so that they can then do 12 years. So that doesn't make sense. I called earlier at the beginning when I saw the way the whole thing was, and I wanted us to sit down and take a look at it broadly. But you know, Yele, I concede that he's been standing with his YAC, one of the party that he's been, and he's the presidential candidate, and he's the leader of his party. I concede and I see his effort, but I don't think it will work. I'd hope that we'll sit down and say, okay, dude, how can we make this work? I wasn't looking at mainly challenging the president. I wanted us to start thinking and vying our mind to succession, because these men are old. It's not their fault, everybody grows old. But I have not seen a systematic plan that allows the next generation of leaders to begin to collaborate with themselves. Right. Okay, what do we do?
Okay, so that was Shagun Showi speaking there. Now, that's not the only thing he did. During his final comment, he actually made a statement against Peter Obi. He said he is disappointed in Peter Obi. Possibly he feels that Peter Obi is taking time to react. And obviously he also thinks that Peter Obi shouldn't become a vice president to Atiku Abubakar for somebody who polled what he polled in 2023. Also, they're alleging that Atiku is the cause of the rift ongoing within the People's Democratic Party. Let's take a listen to that.
And beckon, and even if it is
my
not
greatest disappointment, my greatest disappointment as we're getting ready for 2027 is actually Peter. And he's my disappointment.
You mean Peter Obi?
Yes, of course.
The Labour Party candidate.
Peter Obi, that's his name.
Right.
The reason is that I had hoped in all of his seriousness, I know how we started that thing, that Peter will understand that we can move and challenge the status quo. Not the way he's been doing it all by himself, just right now. But we could do that just to be able to take the outcome, even if it is defeat. We'll say we gave you the best push and we shattered the glass ceilings and united the country because there's no glass ceiling on top of the Southeast. But I can't.
Well, he did. He made an effort in 2023.
That was 2023. You don't know how we got there. I'm talking about the future. You make one effort and then the next thing you're doing is you're running up and down the street telling people you want to. What kind of talk is this? Are we going to go into, well, it's his business though. And I told him many months before, now look, if your mind is not made up by May 29th this year, what you want to do,
right?
I'm going to be more inclined to support Ashaju. And the simple reason is this, I told him, Peter, the benefits that we have done now by integrating you as someone that can be leader of the Indigo political.
And I remember that there was a turning video where he went to, I think, The View, Yes, on television Continental, where he was speaking with the ladies there, and he made a statement. He actually said, and I'm going to quote what he said. He said that they ask you a direct question about what you are, what has happened, but you're not able to respond directly. Everything you keep saying in a mockery tone. He says, production, production, production. That's all you say. How can you not acutely respond to questions? How can you not even know how you want to rule or direct the economy? So, the other time, I think 13 days or 14 days ago, the same politician Shagun Showi actually advised Peter Obi to come and join the People's Democratic Party. That it was the split vote between Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar that made the party lose the 2023 election. That combination, according to him, would have put the PDP on a very good scope. In the conversation he had, he said he tried to speak with Peter Obi about having to join the PDP or what his next step is, but that at the time he was having the conversation with Peter Obi, he was undecided. Again, a lot has actually transpired. Everybody is calling Peter Obi out. There are also talks that Atiku Abubakar may have jumped to the People's Democratic Party, but to join the coalition. What the coalition is and the persons involved now is what is not typically known. However, the supposed coalition party is the ADC. That's a party that's been fronting. Although there are about 100 political parties that needs to be registered, INEC has not responded in that regard. Meanwhile, the Labour Party, under the chairmanship of Julius Aburi, did a press conference to react to the interview that was done or responses made by Peter Obi 2 days ago on a Monitor television program, which we all watched. Now, in that particular interview, Peter Obi accused the APC of being the one responsible for the imbroglio within the Labour Party. Well, Alhaji Umar Farouk Ibrahim, who is the National Secretary of the Labour Party under the faction of Julius Aburi, they responded to Peter Obi's statement during a press conference and stated categorically that the problem of the Labour Party commenced immediately after Peter Obi and Alex Oti joined the party. They also said that Peter Obi made a mistake by not being a good leader to resolve the imbroglio within the Labour Party, and that he is actually falsely accusing the APC of being the problem of the Labour Party, despite all the support that was given to Alex Oti and Peter Obi during the 2023 elections, and the fact that they promised him an automatic ticket ahead of 2027. So let's listen to this, and then obviously I'll introduce my analyst.
The attention of the leadership of Labour Party was called to an interview on Monday granted by the party's candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, wherein he alleged that the APC-led federal government has infiltrated the leadership of the Labour Party and by so doing fomenting crisis in the party. But when asked to produce the evidence, Obi could not produce any tangible evidence. He, however, said that the national chairman, Barrister Julius Aburi, referred to the Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Oti, as dwarf. As a member of our party, we sincerely do not wish to join issues with Mr. Obi, but for his penchant for constantly misinforming Nigerians on the real reasons for the crisis in the party, knowing that virtually most other parties are in one form of crisis or the other, we sincerely hope that he should introspect and move away from these ill-conceived narratives. It is therefore pertinent to put on record that the problem with the party was not created by the ruling party, APC. Rather, the problem in the Labour Party was created and sustained by Peter Obi and Dr. Alex Oti, the governor of Abia State, who is presently serving suspension for anti-party activities. We dare Obi to produce any tangible or intangible evidence which suggests remotely or otherwise that the Abure leadership of the Labour Party is on bed with the APC-led government. Nobody is infallible, and it behoves on anyone who makes mistake to be bold enough to own it. When good leaders fail, they should own up to their responsibilities. Obi failed in providing leadership for the party. He should own up to his mistakes. It is therefore shameful for Peter Obi and Dr. Alex Oti to continue to accuse the government of infiltrating Labour Party and by so doing, demarketing the party. This same government was in existence in 2022 when the party made 6 aspirants, including Professor Patutomi, to step down for Peter Obi as the party's candidate. The government was in existence when the party crisscrossed all the nooks and crannies of the country, including the insecurity-prone areas, campaigning for Peter Obi in 2022 and 2023. The government was in existence when the national chairman, Julius Aburi, traveled across Europe and United States of America to galvanize support for Peter Obi. The government of APC was also in existence when the party leadership mobilized its members across the state, leading to over 6 million votes won during the election. It was the same leadership that you claim has been infiltrated that stood with Peter Obi throughout the tribunal and up to Supreme Court. The same Aburi appeared in court more than Obi, refusing to be cowed when a splinter group wanted to hijack the process. The government of APC was in existence when Peter Obi and Dr. Alex Oti were given sole tickets for the 2027 coming election, even against the status book. Okay, sir. For the records, there was no problem in the Labour Party until Peter Obi and Dr. Alex Oti went to Umuahia, Abia State, to create an illegal and unconstitutional caretaker committee that polarized the party. And may I ask, is it the ruling party that sent Obi and Oti to Umuahia to create a division in the party? If the answer is yes, if the answer is no, they should answer. They were also aware that the cuts from the lower court up to the Supreme Court clearly affirmed the leadership of the party. But Peter Obi and Alex Oti surreptitiously plotted to hijack the leadership of the party by instigating division. Again, is it the government in power that created the division or forced them to march to INEC, the INEC headquarters, to exhibit their ignorance? Peter Obi to be responding to the comment where the national chairman referred to the governor as being dwarfy in knowledge, we want to say clearly that there is no action without a reaction. The national chairman was only responding to a pejorative comment made by the governor wherein he referred to the national chairman as masturbating. The governor neither retracted nor apologized for the reckless statement. He showed utter disrespect to the constituted authority of the party. To the man who went out of his way to help him achieve his ambition to be a governor in Nigeria, I think and we believe that he went too far. If the governor is not limited or dwarfy in knowledge, he would have appreciated the import of the Supreme Court judgment, which practically resolved the crisis in the party. But these men were only blinded by their inordinate desire to rescue the party from the present leadership. The party leadership has moved on since the Supreme Court judgment, and we are working very, very hard and tirelessly to reposition the party, to restore the confidence in our members and prevent further membership hemorrhage being witnessed across virtually all opposition parties in Nigeria today. We therefore think that it is improper for any member of the party who means well for the party to continue to make such unguided statements. The Labour Party will never go into any alliance with any other party to betray our candidates.
All right, there you have it. That was a press conference that they organized today in response to the interview that was done by Peter Obi, I think 2 days ago on Arise Television, who obviously the main person who interviewed him was Rufai Oseni. And most of the conversations had and the responses of Peter Obi generated quite quite the buzz, where a couple of persons gave their own perspective to his response to certain questions that were pertinent for him to put a form of clarity to. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce my analyst in the studio today, as Wike is being asked to seduce by the president. President Tony Wike, you are welcome to join the APC anytime you want to, while he was actually giving him encomiums for some of the infrastructural developments that has taken place in 2 years since Wike became the FCT minister. Ladies and gentlemen, I actually have Mr. Shagun Showi right here in the studio, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. Mr. Shagun Showi, good evening. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for inviting me here. Thanks for the audience.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
We intend to have a very beautiful, sapio conversation today. All right, and obviously I have right here the man of the people, Mr. Lawal Ekundaya. Mr. Lawal, good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Don't say you're better. Say you're fine.
I'll try. I'm coming. Let me make decision with my heart, with my conscience
about how you're feeling.
So, Mr. Shagun Showi, any foreigner who visits Nigeria about 2 weeks ago and saw the front pages of the national newspapers on May 29 would think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had turned Nigeria into utopia, or the El Dorado. For example, the president took front and inside front pages in all the major newspapers to actually talk about the president's achievements in his 2 years. But while the editorial, or whatever it is that was put across all the national dailies and the newspapers, a lot of Nigerians felt that was an insult to their intelligence and their current predicament. They feel that hunger has ravaged their land so much that it's like deliberately the administration is blindsided to that effect. They also consider the fact that ethnic rivalry has become more tense and terrible, which has obviously polarized Nigeria's unity in the past 2 years. Also, government agents have not been living up to their responsibilities, and breakdown of law and order is the order of the day, where those who are meant to hold the law accountable are the ones breaking the law, and nothing actually happens. No one is held accountable. Obviously, they went on to say, for example, that all of the drives and economic reforms, which obviously the president says is benefiting Nigerians, and they're not feeling the benefit. So tomorrow we're going to be experiencing Democracy Day. Food insecurity persists, as food price supposedly is meant to ease, but there is food insecurity. Farmers can't go to the farm. That's one thing. The fuel subsidy removal, Nigerians are asking, what is the impact of removing that fuel subsidy if transportation has increased, if we think that all the public sectors that are meant to make our lives easy are not actually working for us? So is that something that the president is experiencing, that they feel that their policy is doing well, that is in contrast to what Nigerians are actually at the receiving end saying? Tomorrow is Democracy Day, and obviously the senators, in fact, we're seeing advertorials, different whatever, giving praises to the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How do you respond to this?
It's very unfortunate, that our political leadership have insisted on existing in a different world from where ordinary Nigerians live. I mean, it's very obvious that there are two Nigerias, and the Nigeria they reside in is El Dorado. The Nigeria that they reside in has 100,000 megawatts of electricity. The Nigeria that they reside in has train connections from Lagos to Kano, from Kano to Maiduguri, from Maiduguri to Port Harcourt, from Port Harcourt back into Aba. That's the Nigeria they live in. I do believe so. And I think that the Nigeria that they live in, the bag of rice is probably like 5,000 naira. Exchange rate is $2 to the naira, So it's El Dorado. Everything is amazing. It's working, it's beautiful. So why won't they celebrate? Why won't they roll out the drums? Everything is working well in that Nigeria. The Nigeria that we live in is a completely different reality, and sadly, the sad part of it is they are not going to see this. There's nothing we say that is going to change the reality that they have decided to acknowledge, and our reality. Because we do not, unfortunately, have a democracy. Tomorrow is Democracy Day, and my heart weeps. I think that MK Abiola will probably be turning in his grave, on the day that kinds of commemorates all of the things that revolve around him and how we arrived here, and say that we're practicing a democracy. In a country where a governor, an entire governor of an entire state, and an entire House of Assembly of an entire state that were elected by the people of that state are no longer in office. And it's not because the provisions by which they can be removed by the people that put them there have been implemented. It's because some emperor somewhere in Abuja decided that the only way, first of all, he decided that there was a crisis. All right. He decided that there was war, in Rivers State. Decided that there was bloodletting, there was chaos, complete breakdown of law and order in Rivers State. He decided that, again, in that Nigeria that they live, that's what is happening in Rivers State, even as we speak now. In our Nigeria, Rivers State is peaceful. There is no crisis, there is no fighting, there is no shooting. It's just like any other part of Nigeria with all the problems that we're all facing. But in President Tinubu's Nigeria, Rivers State is in crisis. Excuse me.
Sorry.
So, as a result of that crisis, he invoked powers that the Constitution do not give him and removed the governor. And yet we say we're celebrating Democracy Day tomorrow. What democracy? We don't have a democracy. We have some sort of a semblance. I think the only thing we can celebrate is that we don't have soldiers, in Aso Rock ruling Nigeria. So we say, oh, okay, we have civil rule. We don't have military rule. Yeah. That's what we are celebrating tomorrow. We're not celebrating democracy. We don't have a democracy. In a representative democracy, you see those two Nigerias will align. They will be seeing the same Nigeria we're all seeing. Why? They will know that 2027, if they don't see that Nigeria and fix it, they will not come back. But unfortunately, because we're not practicing a democracy, 2027, we're going to go out and vote. We're going to do our best to cast our votes. We're going to do all that we need to do. But they will still announce the results that they choose to announce, because they will glitch all of the provisions, the measures, the procedures that are supposed to result in free and fair elections. So, of course, it's still, in our hands. It's 2 years away. So when I say that, that's not to say that we should resign to our fate and just throw our hands in the air and say there is no point. Don't bother to go out and vote. After all, our votes don't count. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's important to understand that we do not have a democracy. And if we do want a democracy, then we've got to get off our behinds and begin to agitate and begin to work. There are a lot of people, in different parts of the country that are trying. They're trying different things. They're trying to deploy technology. They're trying to, get electoral reforms and all of that. So I think that we need to align ourselves behind all of those efforts and ensure that come 2027, we decide who we want. If we want, and please, it's important, I always like to say this, that I'm not speaking against the person of the president. I really don't care who becomes president. What I want is a Nigeria that works. So if, for example, between now and 2027, we suddenly find by some, whatever, that we have 20,000 megawatts of electricity. See, me that I'm talking, I'll campaign for that man. I will forgive all of the other things that are very wrong with him, and I will campaign for him. If he can give us 20,000 megawatts of electricity, because you see, that will be transformational to change this country, right? So I'm not saying this because I'm against Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm saying this because we need a country that works, and the only way we can get that is when the people decide who is going to rule them. And when that person fails, the people can say, come and be going home. We want somebody else. So that's, for me, tomorrow, we're celebrating the fact that we don't have soldiers in Aso Rock, and that's all. We're not celebrating democracy.
Okay. Mr. Lawal Kundaya, if you look at the heroes of Nigeria's democracy, there are about 10 names, which is on a paper. 10 names, persons who supposedly fought for democracy. Chief Gani Fawehinmi, I think he's late now. Beko Ransom Kuti, Femi Falana, Anthony Enahoro, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Professor Wole Soyinka, Alani Akinwumi, Frederick Fashohun, Abraham Adesonya, Olisa Agbakoba. If you look at the Big 10 persons, the heroes of our democracy, persons who were in the NADECO at the time, who supposedly fought against the military, the president right now and the senator then, the person who fought for democracy, is there a change? Do you think that maybe it's where he comes from that is the problem? Or there's just this misinformation about his personality? Or some certain persons don't even want to try to be objective to see what he's trying to do, that they do. I'm asking a question, you're going to respond.
I'm talking about who's trying to do something.
A certain persons who see that who are not seeing what the president is trying to project. Okay. They're not patient for it because they dislike his personality. US. So they don't want to see, supposedly in brackets, the good measure that his policies will have on Nigeria's economy. What would you say to that?
It baffles me when they count 10 people and said that these are the people that fought for democracy. Many of those people they mentioned, they are not even part of the fight for democracy. Many of them, at the first instant, they ran out of the country. And the reason why they were, the military was after them was not because they fought for democracy, was because they were looking for something for their own personal interest, and the military didn't like it.
Okay.
Face to face, the harmless protesters, the youth, when many of them are telling you their experiences, you see that these are the democracy fighters, but their names were never mentioned, and they mentioned some people who were not in the country. When you are talking about fighter, you look at queue from people like Mandela, who spent 20-something years for the emancipation of his people. They tried to settle him. Many times he said, no, I prefer to die here. He didn't travel to US. He didn't travel to UK, eating chicken and dining and talking from there. Who listens? You have to be at the war front. He was there. He was arrested. He was imprisoned for 20-something years. His life was incarcerated. These are freedom fighters. These are freedom fighters. You talk about Ganifawa, he said he will put anytime, always, he always has his toothbrush and toothpaste inside his bag with his law books and everything. There will always be toothbrush and toothpaste because he knows that from there he may not sleep at home. From there he will go to detention. They will take him to detention straight. So that he will always have his toothbrush. He's always ready to be arrested. He's not in abroad eating chicken and drinking.
All right.
So now I'm coming. I've just finished that.
The president
so we are not
marking the
I'm
June
coming.
12 national broadcast
we are not marking.
Is meant to hold on tomorrow. Hold on, Mr. Lawal. This is a breaking news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has cancelled the June 12 national broadcast earlier scheduled as part of activities lined up to celebrate Nigeria's 26th democracy anniversary. So the planned nationwide broadcast was cancelled due to his scheduled address at the National Assembly joint session the same day. The cancellation of the national broadcast comes on the heels of the earlier announcement that the federal government has decided to cancel the military parade that was to commemorate the 26th Democracy Day, which is scheduled for Thursday, being tomorrow. So according to details released by the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Democracy Day celebration, President Tinubu will instead participate in a special joint session of the National Assembly at 12 noon. The joint session is anticipated to include discussions on the state of the nation, reflections on Nigeria's democratic journey, and renewed appeals for national unity and reforms. Later that day, a public lecture is planned to take place at the State House Conference Center in Abuja at 4 p.m. So no more national broadcast at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
No more parade.
No more parade, no more national broadcast. But there's going to be, the president will be at the Senate and there will be discussions. I don't know, maybe certain media houses will be invited to throw questions.
You want to be at the...
Whether party loyalty says should not override the duty to speak out when government policies hurt the people. So, if you recall, just yesterday, Shagun Showi went to visit the president, came out, and he was really, really gushing. He also said that the president's mental acuity is intact. He said he asked the president certain questions about insecurity and all. The president said, that he knows that they want to bring in forest guards and all. Remember, the president has said so. He asked about lopsided appointments, and the president said yes, that they're trying to balance it. So obviously the president agreed that indeed when it comes to federal character representation, there is no proper representation there. Some of the senators are complaining that there is obviously a preference to certain regions when it comes to allotment, financial allotment for infrastructural development. The senators are also saying that no particular region should be.
Whether southeast, southwest, south, northeast, we all need development, and we need to be allocated adequately and fairly and equitably in whatever they do. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I have just
out the Talero, who said lion share to the southwest. When will southeast even have lion share in any particular project? Mr. President, if this is an omission, it is an expensive omission. The southeast cannot continually to be treated the way Nigeria is treating the southeast. Let me give you an instance. Out of the dams that were listed here on the southeast, Ivo Dam was last funded about 12 years ago with a 5 billion naira spent on it, and it has been abandoned by Nigeria for the last 12 years. I had written 3 letters to the Ministry of Water Resources. We have done everything possible to see if they can bring up Ivo Dam, and here a zone is allocated 66 billion and the entire south is at 0. What kind of omission is that, Mr. President?
Thank you.
We should be treated better than this, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so these have always been the complaints, ever since this, not just this administration, even the previous administration. How would you react to this?
I mean, if we understand that because we're a country, if one particular part of the country is lagging behind, we'll drag others back. Then, our leaders will simply do what they're supposed to do, If the southwest and the south develops and has fantastic highways, excellent rail networks, and what have you, and you don't have same in, let's say, the southeast or the northeast, then what is likely to happen is that the southeast and the northeast will drag the rest of the country back, because there will be a disconnect and a disjoint, At the end of the day, because we are one single country, there is no way that you are going to, there has to be interconnectivity in terms of infrastructure and across board. So this idea of marginalization, keeping certain things from certain regions, is extremely self-defeating, and we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Unfortunately, our politics is what it is. I honestly don't know what we're going to do about it, because the politicians they're going to do what they want to do. We're going to cry what we want to cry, and they're still going to do what they want to do. So invariably, it still boils down, when you look at all of these things, it still boils down to elections and Nigerians, having a say in who is going to run our affairs. I think if we're able to find a way to get to that point, then we can fix all these anomalies. It's an absolute travesty that, an entire region is denied of the desperately needed developmental activities. So let's hope that at some point in the not too far future, we'll be able to arrive at a point when our voices count. When that happens, then we can speak against stuff like this.
Mr. Lawa Akunda, because we need to open the phone lines. Political permutations are rife. Amici intends to campaign. We already heard that Atiku definitely is not part of what is going on in the PDP. The PDP has warned that the presidential ticket for 2027 must be zoned to the south. Otherwise, whatever it is you're saying is done with. And Wike seems to be giving the gavel, giving the order as to how the party should sway. As it stands now, strong party henchmen have decided that if push comes to shove, they're no longer giving their loyalty and support. Shagun Showi has obviously, told us that if they don't get themselves together, he's likely to leave, but not disclosing where he's going to. But right now, he says there's a possibility he will support the APC. That's one. Two, the Labour Party is accusing Peter Obi and Alex Otti for the internal imbroglio and exonerating the APC or any other political party of being behind whatever is going on with them. And that instead of Peter Obi to resolve the internal crisis, he's blaming others for what happened within the Labour Party. As it stands at this very moment, it's obvious that the certain persons who are claiming the leadership of the Labour Party don't intend to want Peter Obi to run again with them. That support has dwindled. The party is literally fractured, and Peter Obi has not disclosed if he's joining a coalition, if he's going to be a vice to Atiku, or he intends to run with the Labour Party. As of now, he said he is, but the Labour Party is distancing themselves from whatever it is that he is saying. So where does this place the supposed Messiah? The Messiah can be anybody. Who would be a new entrant in this political maze in terms of candidacy that would be a threat to the current party? Because as it stands right now, Wike has said the coalition is already a failure and that the good works of the president already has diluted any talk of a coalition that is going to be a clean sweep for the president in 2027. How would you quickly react to this?
No, I'll quickly react to that. Whatever Wike is saying is just saying his own.
Okay.
So good for him. And so whosoever sent him, good for the two of them. For Obi to be saying, it doesn't want, because the moment he tells Labour that he's not, he's forming his journey to coalition, they will use it against him again. There'll be a bigger, force against him. That's why he said, to me, I believe that's why he said he's still remaining with Labour, so that Labour will not have an excuse for, to further, cause problem for him. But the coalition, I believe, is still going on. Let it continue, going on.
Do you think that if he decides to say anything at the last minute, that the momentum would have been lost? Mr. Shagun Showi, says Mr. Shagun Showi, your namesake said that Peter Obi refused to ride on the momentum he gathered there. Now, the reason why Peter Obi seems to be the topic of discourse is that all those persons always mention his name. Shagun Showi did that on TVC, did that on Arise, did that on channels. At every point in time, he calls him out. And he's not the only person. Almost all of them are calling every time Peter Obi. So the question now is, if Peter Obi says that don't vote for APC, I'm sure you listen to that, where he says, don't vote for a government, then Nigerians begin to see who they are. If they no longer trust Peter Obi, trust the president, trust Amechi, trust Atiku. How would you react to this, please?
First of all, let me quickly address what happened with Mr. Shagun Showi, my namesake.
Okay.
My very eloquent, well-spoken brother. It wasn't surprising. And you see,
it wasn't?
No, not to me, because I have always seen him and looked at him with one kind eye, as we say in street parlance. I've never really trusted that he is a man of very strong convictions.
But he sounds like that. 13 days ago, he was advising Peter Obi to join the PDP.
But that's the point. And here we are now.
Yeah.
I was listening to him yesterday, and honestly, I wasn't surprised that he's now saying, he will see what will happen.
No, he was gushing. It was not even what we see. He was literally gushing.
Exactly. So, and he's going to have a meeting with who?
The president.
Good. So, he's following in the footsteps of Buaya, Reno Omokri. These are all PDP stalwarts from GEJ days, and through Atiku and now. And all of a sudden, this very articulate set of people, or prime minister, is usually one or two people. And you would have seen their rise. In other parts of the world, you would have seen them coming. So as we speak today, for example, in American politics, you will see that Marco Rubio is going somewhere. Do you understand? You can predict that another 4 years from today, he'll probably be on the presidential ticket and he might stand a good chance. Even Donald Trump, that appeared as if we didn't see him coming, we saw him coming. He had already declared his intention many years before, So if you look at American politics today, you can literally count on the fingers of only one hand people that can become president. So it's the same thing in Nigeria. As we speak today, hey, my sister, that person that you're asking me to name, I don't know the person, no. I don't know.
You can name yourself.
I'm not there yet.
What about you, Mr.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. There are things that you need to do to rise to that position.
Okay.
Right? So about him has changed. That appeal is still very, very much there. The frugality, the simplicity, the apparent honesty, the fact that till today, there is simply no law enforcement agency anywhere in the country that you can find one single case against this guy, right? All of those things are there. So for me, It's a simple fight. Everything that is happening now is all about Peter Obi and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that's why you find what happens now is that his name is on all of their lips. Everybody. They can no longer pretend. It's so bad now. I will not be surprised if I hear Peter Obi's name in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's words. That's the only thing that is remaining now, because his governors, his party leaders, they're all talking about this guy.
Go on social media.
Why?
Every day.
Why?
All sorts of names.
Why? Why are we talking about him? So it's obvious that there is something about him that is simply enigmatic, that has captured the imagination of Nigerians.
Okay.
So for me, I can't answer your question. I don't know any other person.
Okay.
The only two that I know
right.
is Tinubu and Obi.
Okay.
Part 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take your reactions. We're having issues with the YouTube, but you can come on to Facebook. I'm streaming live. Esther Wachuku on Facebook. All right, Esther Wachuku on Facebook. I'm currently streaming live there, so you can join the conversation virtually, and you can send your comments in there too. I'll get to read it out. The number to call is 080-3692-9933. 080-3692-9933. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, Esther.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name?
This is Samuel from Bagada.
All right, Samuel from Bagada. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. First time caller.
Wow, welcome. Welcome. Let me clap for you.
Yeah, I want to say well done to everyone in the studio. I want to say big up to all the analysts there. That God will continually bless every one of you.
Amen.
Now, I have a question for every one of you there, please. Is there any attempt being made to ensure electoral reforms are created before 2027 election from either the government or any agency that may be responsible for that? We are just talking about the elections. Without reforms, there will be no election. What we have again is election. So what is being done? Nigerians are not talking about that. What is being done either by the government or maybe by an agency responsible for that towards electoral reform? Because I remember the last election, the INEC chairman promised that the BVAS machine will work, only for them not to work on the day of the elections. And that man is still roaming free. Nothing is done to him. I also remember that a lot of money was allocated to INEC to make those things work. In the end, nothing worked. And here now we are getting close to another election. Nobody's talking about electoral reforms. So if there are no electoral reforms, the voice of the people will not be heard during the election.
You're very right.
It's still the same problem we are going. So what is being done? Please, I want our analysts to talk about this.
All right, thank you.
What is being done about electoral reforms in Nigeria?
Thank you. Mr. Shagun Showi, would you like to respond to
that?
Yes.
There are a few bills that have been presented to the National Assembly. There's some work going on actually, and the thing is, it's not likely that it will be
Are
passed.
they not dilly-dallying on it?
They will
There's this
dilly-dally.
Randy Peters who has been protesting for it. It's also part of the protest, part of the reasons for the protest tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. So I think it's a fair point that he's made, and it's something that we all need to lend our voices to, including him that just called. Let's keep talking about it. I'm aware of a number of projects here and there that are trying to drive the conversation around electoral reforms because we need it. We need to make sure that the law makes it compulsory to transmit election results.
All right, thank you. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, Esther.
Yes, good evening. What's your name?
I greet your studio. I greet your guest on the studio there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is Emanuel speaking from Orile Gomoye.
All right, Emmanuel, please go ahead.
I am a fan of your show. I'm also a fan of you.
Thank you.
I've been listening to the program. About 2-3
days. I saw the number. You made reference to that. I'm so sorry.
No, I was the one who said I wanted to see you privately.
Yes.
It was a confidential issue. So you now asked me to send my SMS. I told you.
Yes, you sent an SMS yesterday. Yes, I will call you. I promise. I'm so sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes.
I will be, hello?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. I'm still hoping to hear from you, please.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I will place my number. My number is there also.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Their guests in the studio there, they are great Nigerians. And I said, may God continue to keep them and protect them. These people are the people who know that Nigerians are already suffering. It's a pity. I'm a member of the APC. Even we worked in Lagos State here, we have not been recognized. We shouted the vote for, because we are living in Lagos State. We supported the party that is only in Lagos State, but we saw nothing up to now. Therefore, it is not a question of being a member of the APC, it's being a member of who is going to do Nigeria well. That's what I believe now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief, for calling. As I said, we appreciate 080-3692-9933.
That for me. We should be very, very careful, because the very first people that frustrated Jonathan was Amechi.
It was a Nigerian.
He was a Pan-African.
Yes, working as a Nigerian, trying to solve problems across board, and he was succeeding in solving it. So don't let us look at what when you are making predictions of the future, you have to look at the past. Look at what happened the last election. People didn't expect that, because I told them there's a new Nigeria. You don't know. There's a new Nigeria.
True. So people should not look at issues from a limited prism.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, good evening. Yes. Good evening, sir.
Esther, how you do?
I do. Good evening. How you do?
Hello, Esther.
I did hear you. You know they hear me?
Esther, maybe you can hear me.
I did hear you.
Let me continue. Esther, what I want to contribute, please.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
I did hear you, Kankwe. Go ahead.
You're not hearing me.
Try. I did hear you.
Yes, Esther, what I want to contribute, I'm begging. You know, I don't want to put this politics. I don't want to put my mind to this their politics thing, because I always feel that if we talk it today, tomorrow Nigeria will forget and say another thing. But what I'm begging Mr. Obi, Obi, are you hearing me? Mr. Obi, are you hearing me? If you don't form any coalition, you are not going anywhere. Joe Berega is telling you this. I've said it time with that number. Form a beautiful coalition to see what we can do. The little we can do, we let the rest to God. So form this coalition, neatly form it. Don't let people deceive you by telling you, oh no, we want to be, we must surely be the person to contest for presidency. What we want APC to get away from here. That is only what we want. I want APC to get away from that place. They have failed Nigeria. Please, that is what I'm begging.
All right, thank you.
Coalition is the way.
Right.
Thank you very much, my dear.
Thank you, Joe. So I think the problem is not about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but the problem is about the party in the last how many years now? 10 years? Yes, exactly. I think that's basically the issue. And I think that was one of the reasons that they had issues in 2023, because they feel that Buhari that promised to deliver did not deliver, right? Okay. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. I am Smith from Ikoyi.
Prince from Ikoyi.
Smith from Ikoyi.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank your guest here. Oh, hello, can you hear me?
Very well. I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
In Nigeria politics today, Obi is like a high tension. Most of the political parties are afraid of Obi. His name is just like a high tension that if you hold it, you just die. So what I want for me is that let him form coalition. He cannot do it alone. Because hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Very well.
I have met with most of my political godfather. They are APC. They say the name of Obi is like a name that is shaking in Nigerian politics. And your analyst is right. The only person that will contest in 2027 is Obi and Jagaban Tinubu. And let Obi take his time and make his choice. His name is the one that is ready. Even article name is already there before now. So let him take his time. He needs to make this coalition. Him standing alone will give him that strong vote in 2027. Because most of my people in the north, they want to see anybody from the north that will attach to a person that have that memento to move that election. So Obi just let him go and make his choice from the north. That will move north, move east, move south. But
let me kudos him. He's the high station of politics in Nigeria today. Forget about Atiku, forget about every other body. After Tinubu with Obi in 2027. Apart from this, every other person is just after party somebody. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you for calling. 080-3692-9933 or 0700-903-903-903. That's the number to call. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening. My name is Mr. Aruba. I'm calling from Ejigbo.
All right, sir. Please go ahead.
Good evening to your guest in the studio.
Good evening.
Okay, I'm a regular listener. I just said I should contribute today. It's my first time.
Wow, thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, the scenarios are like this. Mr. Peter Obi is the person Nigeria voted for in 2023. But the system did not allow us to get our president. That same system has not changed. The plan has not changed. We all know what happened in 2023. What the president is trying to do now is to replicate the Wike pattern. That's why he's trying to get governors that will do exactly what Wike did for him in Rivers State, in all of the states, so that the elections will go in his favor. Now, somebody called earlier and talked about electoral reform. That is the only thing that will make Peter Obi wins if he contests. Now, the second scenario I'll give to you, we may not get electoral reform because Tinubu will not sign. Even if the National Assembly brings an electoral reform to his table, he will not sign. So we can't get it. Now, the only other way we can get Tinubu out is for Peter Obi to agree to be deputy to Atiku, whether he's going to do 4 years, whether he's going to do 8 years. That is the only other way that the North will vote that pair. The problem will be for Peter Obi to be able to convince his own supporters to stay with him, even if he's a running mate to Atiku. Because if they have an understanding and Atiku will agree that after he does his 4 or 8 years, hand over to Peter Obi, that's the only way we can get Peter Obi into Aso Rock. If we want Peter Obi to win an election in this kind of system where you don't win the election, you only win the announcement. In Nigeria, you don't win election, you win announcement. Who will announce Peter Obi's name that has won election? Who? Is it the people that Tinubu is going to appoint? They will go and announce Peter Obi's name. That is not possible. So it's either we get electoral reform, which I think is also impossible, or we are build with Peter Obi to be the running mate to Atiku. The Northerners will give Atiku the vote. If we support him here, Tinubu is out. They can't read that one. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. All right, 080-3692-9933 or 0700-903-903-903. That's the number to call. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello.
Yes, sir, good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. How are you, sir? Are you using an earpiece? Your voice is very low.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I greet the Honorable in the House.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Emanuel, aka DJ.
Oh, okay. Welcome.
Yeah, I want to use this opportunity to talk to my brother Peter Obi. So Peter Obi should think well. Make you think well. Make you leave this thing when the doctor is no way. Ingo resign. There is aid for resign. You should think about going to these people, make them do this coalition. That is the only way you can survive this. If only in one stand, all these people they give an advice. They don't give an advice better one. Make you follow this one where we give them now. Make you join these people, make the fun. Even though he will be vice president, we like him. He's not mature enough to do this thing alone. So make him go back, make him think, make him use that instead think like Igbo man. If he even wants to get what he wants to get.
Okay.
You have to make him come from vice president before he will become president. If he wants to help this country, make him become vice president. So
thank you very much for calling. All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So I'll take a few messages and then take more calls. All right. Thank you for your endurance. Esther, good evening. Do you know that the PDP Lagos spokesperson you interviewed a few weeks back through phone has joined APC? He left PDP for APC with some other PDP Lagos members. He was officially welcomed to APC on Monday by APC members Lagos State. My opinion, PDP Lagos State is officially dead. Mike from First Act Town. Mike, please, which PDP official did I speak with last week? Because I don't think the one you're referring to has ported to the APC. That one came to the studio. Right, so I don't think he has ported to the APC. So kindly tell me his name if you can recall, please, because that's the person I remember that has joined us here physically to speak about his party. So I'm going to reach out to him and ask him if he has ported. There's nothing wrong with freedom of association, but I don't think he's the one. Maybe there's someone else. Okay, thank you very much for your message. Good evening, Esther. Thank you very much. Good evening to you. Well done, thank you. Tinubu is not 2 years in government. He has been an active politician for over 50 years, handling huge offices from governor to minister to national party chairman. So why are people telling me to give him more time? More time to do what exactly? Our democracy is 26 years, our independence is going to 70 years. And ever since then, these people have been in government asking us to endure and give their policies time while they destroy the country with corruption, stealing and living extravagant lifestyles with their families. Ororo from Ayobo.
I understand what
you understand what he's saying.
That he was a senator at some point during Babangida Abacha time.
He exaggerated. Okay, good evening, Esther. Please don't ignore my messages any longer. You know too well it's not a smooth ride to get through phone calls. Thanks. Comrade Akpan Silas, Magodere State, Lagos. Comrade Akpan Silas, I hope you're listening now. Okay, Shagun Showi is disgruntled about Peter Obi because he thought Peter Obi is going to be a sacrificial lamb for Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. By Peter Obi picking 2027 presidential ticket under the present fractured PDP in the armpits of Nyesom Wike. So what Bola Tinubu would have a work over winning 2027 presidential elections. Thank God for the wisdom of God in Peter Obi that understood the game plans. Many betrayals in the guise of winning Peter Obi with their empty loyalty are going to continually be disappointed. Obi is a moving train with all his supporters intact. The likes of Julius Sabare, Shagun Showi, Showore, Reno Mokre, many of them are losers of their political sinisters against Peter Obi, Abanisha. Gregory Peter Obi, grace personified. Comrade Akpan Silas, Magodere State, Lagos. Comrade Silas, I hope you're happy now. Good day, youth of Nigeria. Wake up, look at Burkina Faso. What the head of state is doing now. How long will it take Nigeria to do good, Mr. Babu? Esther Wachuku, Tinubu's government has completely failed Nigeria. Imagine APC members insulting themselves. This is the beginning, Mr. Babu. Democracy Day under APC's regime is zero achievement automatically has led to hunger, starvation and death. Fuel subsidy is a scam. Nigerians are suffering. Engineer Lawrence Ofoko from Igbo in Lagos. Wike Igbo Ilerin.
Don't enjoy Esther.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Wike is an APC member since and a poster boy in PDP, same as every other member of PDP who are waiting for a call-up by Tinubu, just like a football team. These are the people that we are told to give more time in governance. Anybody hoping Nigeria will get better with the kind of politicians we have is either chopping from the bad government or a fool. Ororo, calm down. Good evening, crew. Lincoln from Lagos. This government is the worst in history. 2 years of nightmares, sorrow, tears and blood. This government is like a student that failed an exam and you're praising yourself. Also, you want to promote himself to another class like I used to say. The foundation that brought this government into power is not credible. All that it does would work. Like Daily Farotimi said, you can't bribe your way into power and expect development. This is what Cash and Kari Yakubu and Ariwola and Kikeruku has forced into the throat of Nigerians. It's like putting an Agbara in a vote of a central bank. It will loot it to ground. That is why we're in this nightmare. A government built on lies, eye service on propaganda and hypocrisy, square pegs and round holes, compromise of institutions and rubber stamp Senate, breeder of Agbaras, education destroyers. They turn the people to beggars and a marjorie in the midst of plenty. They turn a secure country to a gangster paradise. It's a shame the worst of us is really the best of us. Truly, there was a country. This sounds like Dayo from Fangba.
I know him from another station.
Oh, you know him. Good evening. Good evening to you too. Shagun Showi doesn't know. Okay, good evening. I'm one of those that is angry with this administration because I already knew Tinubu will not perform. Shagun Showi doesn't know that 99% of Igbos did not vote for Peter Obi in 2023 because he is an Igbo extraction. But we voted for him based on competence and he has a capacity to make Nigeria a great nation. I challenge your guess that Tinubu will not give you and Nigerians 20,000 megawatts between now and 2027. And if you like, campaign for Tinubu. Leo from Lagos. Good evening, VOP. Shagun Showi appears to be leveraging Peter Obi's popularity to gain favor with President Tinubu, likely to secure a position in the APC. Peter Obi's appeal has made him a sought-after figure for politicians looking to boost their credentials, especially with the 2027 elections in mind. As Tinubu's camp seeks to counter the obedient movement, the cancellation of the military parade is understandable, given the potential for protests and unwanted attention. However, Atiku Abubakar's potential defection from PDP to a yet-to-be-named coalition party raises eyebrows. Despite any party affiliation, his legacy within PDP may endure. Lastly, President Tinubu's acceptance of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center, named after him during IBB's regime, seems like a gesture driven by personal vanity, which might be perceived as childish. Mr. Ogumbi from Idimu. There's a list of a lot of edifices.
Yes, I saw it now. So many within less than 2 years.
What is that? Is that
so shameful? It's ugly.
Polytechnic is there, road, airport, even Niger State.
To lick balls.
Can't it tell them no? He should be telling them no. So even if it's psycho,
are you sure that he's not the one that is telling them to? Because the moment they will have told you before now that they have done this is what they are doing.
They invite you for the opening or something.
You renovated something. You renovated and changed the. I mean,
plenty. When I saw the list, I was like, I'll get in now.
What?
Hello. Good evening. How are you? Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm good. My name is Shola.
Shola, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good.
Happy
Mr.
Day in advance.
And the other guests, I greet you, sir. You are doing it.
I greet you, sir. Good evening.
What I want to say is I want to liken the case of Nigerians to the case of when Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt. Go Canaan land. And they were at the point Moses sent Joshua and some people to go and spy into the land. And when those ones, I think before Joshua, some went and said, that they saw mighty men, that those guys were giants, and they were like it was a grasshopper before them.
Yes.
It was Joshua that went back and had the confidence and hope that, that they can conquer that land. And they inherited the land. The last two callers mentioned something. Is your opinion talking about that Obi cannot win without aligning with Atiku?
Yeah.
He should go for vice president. See, what I believe and I stand for is that what is worth doing is worth doing well. Nigeria is at a point where the kind of people that have taken over this country for so long, and especially this particular government, we have political jobbers, we have psychopaths, we have looters. These people they have destroyed the fabrics of this nation. And there's no hope. This is not democracy. Now, if you are talking about Atiku, what is the guarantee that if it is Atiku that is the presidential candidate, what is the guarantee that what he alleged that Tinubu can do, because we know he has pocketed all the institutions.
Yeah.
What is the guarantee that Atiku will be able to fight against it? Because if the institutions have been pocketed, if you are telling me he's not capable, what is the guarantee that Atiku will be able to fight against him? And another thing is that what is the guarantee that if Atiku becomes president, what is the guarantee that Atiku will hand over and to Obi based on agreement? And being a VP, you are just a spare tire. Look at Oshibajo. Oshibajo was by candidate. That man would have done, I believe, nobody's the same, but I believe that man would have done something. Look at when Buhari went on sick leave. Within a few months, you will know that this man is somebody that has good intent. So, but when they kicked him out, they said he's not lawyer, he's not. I look, who is the next best candidate among the people I went for Obi? So what is worth doing is worth doing well. And talking about what Nigerians should do, the main thing is that if you are going on a protest, Nigerians are the ones now that should keep advocating for that electoral reform. Without the electoral reform, what happened in 2023 will happen again. So this is war. See, what I'm saying is that I'm not calling for bloody revolution, but there are different kinds of revolution. There's civil disobedience. There are ways. It depends on Nigerians. Okay. This should be a fight to finish, because if not, Nigeria is going down the drain.
All right.
Nigeria will be, or whoever, maybe between now and the next election, maybe another person will spring up. But for now, Obi represent change.
All right.
You answer for me. He represents the change. We need a change from this present set of people. Look at all of them up and down. That's what you say, Shagun Showi. All of them going up and down. Look at even what's his man's name? Zeli Mamadou. He was saying that he doesn't see himself in a room with some people.
And he said his soul has also left the PDP. He said his soul
has left. Change. They are just all these people. They are just political jumpers. Nigerians, we are on our own. We need to rise up.
All right.
And rally around a credible candidate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Now, what I want you to understand, the last caller, is that two things. The first one, see, people keep saying something about Atiku. He did that, he cannot do that, and I ask, and I keep asking it, and I ask on media like this. I ask them physically, tell me those things that you have against this man. I'm not PDP.
That's one. Number two.
Number two is that the achievement of Obasanjo is still the achievement of Atiku. Because both of them run throughout the year, and
I disagree with you.
You disagree?
No, I'm coming.
I disagree with you completely.
Okay, you can say your own. Yeah. I've said my own, that because both of them, this is the president, this is the vice,
right.
and both of them finished the 8 years.
Okay.
So tell me, what's the difference?
Look. First of all, like the last caller said, in Nigeria's democracy today, the vice president is a spare tire. You're only as useful as the president decides you will be useful. And we saw it play out in that same administration you are talking about. In the first term, Atiku was all over the place, National Privatization Council, this and that. Second term, he was useless. He was nowhere. So the credit, whatever credit you want to give Obasanjo, Atiku can't take it. I'm sorry. It's not the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria. The vice president serves at the pleasure of the president. So we can't really point at anything. That's the only thing I wanted to say that I disagree with you on. Whether Atiku is competent or not, I think it's a different conversation. But I don't think we can measure Atiku's capacity based on those 8 years under Obasanjo.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, good evening, Sister Esther.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name, please?
Yeah, my greetings to your guest there.
Thank you very much. What's your name?
Yeah, I'm Peter Obi, calling from Satellite and Lagos.
All right, sir, please go ahead.
You see, one of the things that I don't normally like is how will it take Nigerians to consider that we are one? What kind of hatred do Nigerians have for the Igbo man? I'm not trying to sensitivate, but I'm just looking at the way people are talking. Maybe these kind of people, these people are not part of Nigerians. How can you be calling Obi maybe that, where you're coming from, there has no stake in Nigeria? Well, let me come down to the other way around. Like the question you asked the guest there, that do you think that this man can turn Nigeria under 2 years coming? No, it is not possible. Because the name of Obi is like the one in the Bible, in the book of Acts 10:38. He said how God anointed Jesus Christ of Nazareth with Holy Ghost and with power. That he went about doing good. The good the man did in Anambra State is an antecedent to bring him to the center. And that's why you know that there are names that God will give a nation or a family. It will liberate people. But our people are so myopic that they cannot understand that God has given them a particular person that will come. And they are trying to see, they want to align him with the people that have been destroying that Nigeria. Let's back him up. The man, to my understanding, that man will not like to receive any salary from Nigeria. I am telling you honestly.
He can do something like that, though. All right, thank you very much. Thank you for calling.
I need to speak very quickly to that.
Okay.
I think my brother should understand that nobody hates Igbo people.
Okay.
He needs to get that. I'm a Yoruba man. I have Igbo. Look, my life is full of Igbo people all around me.
Yeah.
Let me just leave it at that. Look, it's politics.
It's politics.
There is no hatred or enmity between Yoruba and Igbo, between Hausa, and there is no politics. It's politics. Just leave that thing. People are beginning to get wise to it. That's why that guy that called from the US and was saying Obi will not get votes in the north. That's old politics. So I'm telling you, Northerners today are aligning behind Obi. I know them personally, people that spent their personal money to print materials for Obi during 2023 elections. So, look, Nigeria is changing. Forget that thing. Nobody hates Igbo people.
All right, thank you very much. Olusegun, I think the rigging of the election starts from collecting PVC. APC will do everything possible to frustrate distribution of PVC. Please take notes. Also, Olusegun Odumosu, Peter Obi had better join hands with Atiku if they want to dislodge Bulamba from office. That's on Facebook. We're currently streaming live on Facebook. Esther Machko on Facebook, so you can send your messages in there. All right, more messages. Good evening, Esther and analysts in the studio. My name is Gabriel from Ikorodu. Some members of Labour Party are beating about the bush. This man that we just heard his voice is economical with the truth. The problem in Labour Party is caused by greed and individuals that are power mongers such as Julius Saburi, His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi and Governor Oti, whom they are accusing as being the cause of the problem. The party only wanted to deal with illegality in the party. Somebody's tenure was over and he still wants to remain in the seat. This coupled with allegation of mismanagement of their campaign fund hanging on him, which I believe he wants to remain in the seat to suppress the revelation. He mentioned all the effort they made to help Peter Obi actualize his dream. Of course, that is what they're supposed to do. It's not a big deal. Should that now make His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi and Governor Oti to approve their illegality? I want to remind them that Labour Party was unpopular until Obi came on board. My question, this is for Mr. Lawal. Good evening, Esther and crew. My opinion without sentimental or being judgmental and not with biased opinion on the issues in discussion. I'm trying not to be approbate and reprobate like others without any proven fact, because I know politics is an emotional issue mostly in Africa. God bless Nigeria, Emanuel. My question is, Mr. Lawal, an analyst or a hater? Hater of which one? What your question? Hater of what? Hater of the government of the day, hater of the president, or politician? Which one? Please make your.
Or maybe maybe he hated me.
No, he didn't say you. I want to know what I want. He wants to ask if you're a hater of the government or just.
That's why he made it open. A hater. It has no connection. It has no
anything.
You just say hater. That means he hates me personally.
No, I don't want to think he hates you. He just wants to ask if you're a hater of the government. I think this is a supporter of the present government. I keep wondering what is driving the ruling APC party under President Tinubu. It appears almost all the political structures have defected to APC, including the judiciary, courts, INEC, the military, police, and indeed other armed forces, royal fathers, the National Assembly. Please, I need proofs and clarity. Prince from Ojo Alaba, Lagos.
I haven't seen anything yet.
And that thing can cause implosion to APC. You know, it's two ways.
Good evening, Esther and honorable really guest today. Babeji from Oshodi, greeting to you all. Please, Esther, with due respect, those 10 names listed as the fighters of Nigerian democracy may not be acceptable without Professor Humphrey Nwosu. Again, until when one or two names is removed from the list, because as it stands currently now in Nigeria, there's this obvious truth that Nigerians doesn't have or are practicing whatever democracy ought to be. Please let the opposition deny themselves from coalition, agitate for electoral reforms, and get it unanimously for the sake of saving Nigerians from their oppressors come 2027 elections. Good evening, Esther and gentlemen at the studio. Nigeria have forgotten who made June 12 to be today, which is Humphrey Nwosu. May his soul rest in peace. Please let them release Nnamdi Kanu, Angel from Akunwojo. The display of the former governor of Edo State at the airport shows that Nigeria is blessed with dictatorship who claim they own Nigeria. How can someone who came late for his flight schedule decide to disrupt the activities of the terminal building? This is how failed candidates represent the people that voted them blindly into office, thereby being nonchalant in looking at the welfare of grassroots development. Only when their tenure is almost over, they begin to rush. This is a spillover effect. Secondly, I expected President Tinubu to have a town hall meeting with members of grassroots development, not plutocrats that will only hail in order to look for cheap political appointment. It's uncalled for. Brother John from Isala. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the day on this program where we get to look at investment opportunities. How are you this evening, Victor?
Good evening, Esther. Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Victor from Kudos Homes Limited, and I'm here to present to you the wonderful opportunities that we have in Kudos Homes Limited. Okay. In fact, if you've been waiting to own a property, I believe this is the best time for you to start investing. Now, let me quickly list all our property locations, and so that you can note them and think of the one that you should invest in. Okay, here in Lagos, we have in Agbowa Ikorodu. Now, the name of the estate in Agbowa Ikorodu is called Kudos City. And Kudos City is currently selling for just 1.5 million naira per plot. Okay. We also have in Omuketu Ekpe, in fact, Kudos Heritage. Kudos Heritage on Saturday will be having another set of allocation. all our clients that has invested, they will be coming on Saturday to possess their land, to take allocation of all their properties that they have invested in Kudos Heritage. So the price for Kudos Heritage is still on the promo price. Instead of 2.5 million naira, we are still selling for 950,000. So if you have been out there saving money to own a property, you still have the chance, because after Saturday, you might not have that chance again. So you still have the chance to invest and also get your allocation on Saturday. So if you buy now at the price of 950, you'll be getting your plot of land in Kudos Heritage Omuketu Ekpe on Saturday. Also in Omuketu Ekpe, we have Kudos Heights. Kudos Heights is selling for just 4.5 million naira per plot. Is also in Omuketu Ekpe and is selling for just 4.5 million naira per plot. Now the plot measurement for all this estate is 500 square meters. Now let me quickly call my phone number so that you can call us to secure your own plot. The phone number to call is 0905 904 7514. 0905 904 7514. Now also in Delta State, we have Kudos Heights as well, which is located in Ibuzo main town and is very close to the Asaba International Airport and also close to the first and second Niger Bridge. Now Kudos Heights is selling for just 1.5 million naira per plot. We also have Fairview Estate Phase 2, which is also located in Ibuzo. And Fairview Estate Phase 2 is selling for just 2.5 million naira per plot. And we have Kudos Court also in Ibuzo. Now, Kudos Court is a buy and build estate, and Kudos Court is currently selling for just 4.5 million naira per plot. Now, all of these estates are perfectly located. Like I said, they are very close to the Asaba International Airport, and they are also close to the first and second Niger Bridge. Now, the number again to call is 0905 904 7514. 0905 904 7514. Now the good thing is that we go for inspection every Thursdays and Saturday here in Lagos. So if you want to invest in Kudos Heritage Omuketu Ekpe that is currently selling at the promo price of 950,000, now you can go to inspection with us tomorrow. We go for inspection every Thursdays and Saturday, but tomorrow you can join us so that you can clock in this deal of 950,000. Then on Saturday you join us for the inspection stroke allocation where you get your own plot of land. Now again, the number to call is 0905 904 7514. 0905 904 7514. And in Delta State, our inspection days is every day. We go for inspection every day, excluding on Sunday. So you can come to inspection from Monday to Saturday, excluding on Sundays. And our office address here in Lagos is at number 171 Egbeda Idimu Road, Abule Odu bus stop, Egbeda, Lagos. 171 Egbeda Idimu Road, Abule Odu bus stop, Egbeda, Lagos. We also have our offices in Enugu and in Delta State. And if you want to visit us, visit our website. The website is www.kudoshomesLimited.com to get more information about our properties and our services. www.kudoshomesLimited.com. We are also on all social media platforms, like you can get us on Facebook and on Instagram at Kudos Homes Limited. So don't forget, the number again to call is 0905 904 7514. 0905 904 7514. Invest in Kudos Heritage at this discounted price of 950,000 per plot and save yourself over 70%. So start investing today.
All right, thank you so much, Victor.
Thank you so
for
much,
that
Esther.
enlightenment. Do have yourself an amazing evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go back to the main conversation that we've been having. I'll read a few messages because we have a couple of ads to play after the program. So, based on what you did, Brother John from Isolo, I think I have read your message. Good evening, Esther and your guest. A politician has the right to sing praises to their paymaster. He will tax you. Order Nigerians and pay the enemies of Nigerians who have gathered themselves together in a basket. When they renovate a well, bathroom, toilet, market square, they will celebrate each other and sing praises to their paymaster. No good school, no good hospital, no good road, no light, no good water. We have only looters fighting to loot and kill Nigerians. Shame to all looters. Chikeze from Agor. They said tomorrow is Democracy Day. Which kind of democracy are they celebrating? Onyebuchi Aradiobu from Ojo. Onyebuchi, 26 years of practicing democracy, isn't it? That's what we're doing. Good evening, Esther and the guys in the studio. My name is Mr. Trust. Is it not the same president that fell while trying to parade during the Eagle Square last year? Do you want Mr. President to fall again? Okay, Paul from Mushin, the North and West will not allow any Igbo man to be Nigeria's president. Sorry. Why now? Paul, you just didn't hear what Mr. Shagun Showi just said. Didn't you hear what he said now? Good evening, Esther and your guest. Peter Obi is a beautiful bride. That's why everyone is talking about him. The reason is because good people like Obi are very few. Thanks for the good work. Hope at Iba Ojo. Greetings, everyone in the studio. My name is Andy from North Korea. I'm reaching out about our brother Situs, who usually calls from Freetown, Sierra Leone. It's been a while since we've heard from him, and I'm concerned. If you have any updates, please let us know. That's all for now. Good night, everyone. Well, Sisters has not called for a while. I don't know. I think he's in Sierra Leone. I hope he's fine. Sisters, please, if you watch us, kindly call so that those who listen to you can know you're fine. Hello, good evening. How are you? Hello?
Yeah, it's fine. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name, please?
This I'm calling from.
You don't know where you're calling from?
I can hear you.
You said you're calling from where?
Ajaro State.
Ajaro State. All right, go ahead, please, quickly. Hello? Oh, wow, the connection is lost. I wouldn't say you should call back because we're out of time. Like I've always said, it's irresponsible and dull for anyone to claim one opposition is sponsoring chaos in their party. Same statement lazy governors make towards insecurity. Honestly, these days I'm starting to give Peter Obi social distancing because of statement he makes and his attitude towards issues sometimes. Eulogizing Gowon or Babangida. I can't invest confidence in him when I listen to his interviews sometimes, as I'm a reader of person through any mode of communication they deploy. Peter Obi is not a child, and so I see it as ridiculous when supporters come at his defense at any opposing views. These people forget that he is a politician and Nigerian politicians are not saints. I don't see the line what Shagun said. If there's an election today, I doubt if Obi would get same amount of vote as he has lost supporters, and how many of the obedience would vote. If he wants to fail willfully and not learn from the past, then he should contest alone and let the APC have their way again. Then I would see uncommon sense if anyone says Peter Obi walked for the APC. Good evening, Esther and honorable guests. Talking about electoral reform, there has always been electoral reform at every general election circle, which is not being abided to by the electoral umpire, just like what happened at the last election. So, what's the need? Ima from Magbon. Good evening, VOP family. Nigerians know what they want. This one no be go come. If INEC conducts confirmed election, APC no go see anything. So INEC is my problem. But your callers should remember the North still have large numbers of Christians. Chris from Ejigbo. So, your guest is economical with the truth, especially when one remembers his response concerning allocation of funds after playing that tape from National Assembly EU from Mr. Which of the guests has been economical? Good evening, beautiful Esther. Thank you. My own advice to Nigerians is that they should wake up and stop allowing our president and the whole politicians to deceive them, just like the white colonials deceived the whole Africans. Look at how the white deceivers printed the paper, called it money, and then they're taking our resources, they're taking the real money that God has created. Okay.
God doesn't know some people.
Good evening, Esther. In short, Mr. Shagun is a brilliant man. All he said is accurate. He's a man of wisdom. Please keep bringing him to the studio. Mr. Shagun Showi. Do you know the romance? Yeah, I've been romancing him because he's always busy to come. So there's going to have to be a bill that we passed in that regard in this our parliament. Okay. Messages so well. Esther, good evening. I beg to disagree with your guest. The hatred for the Igbos is so obvious that your guest is looking at it from personal grounds. That is so pronounced if you go back to the history of Nigeria. It came back from Mafoko Shudi.
Can I say something about that? Can I say something? They are forgetting that when Nigeria was fighting for independence, it was the Yorubas and the Igbos the South that actually fought for independence. It was not part of the North at all. They had to negotiate with the North to go with them for them to get the independence. So go and see it across board. And you go and see the vote that Obi got. And tell me how many Easterners were there. Not even Lagos.
That's it. How many Easterners?
I mean, these are people who don't because they have been fed with these tribalistic lies from there, maybe from
leaving us
somewhere.
From Ejigbo. Good evening, Esther and guests. Obi's greatest mistake will be to accept deputy. Article that is running, knowing that this is the turn of the South, shows desperation, and I believe he does not believe in zoning. Once Article gets what he wants, he and his cronies will abandon PDP for Obi and form a new party to ensure Obi never gets the chance. When it appears that PDP will produce an Igbo president, APC happened. Article was clamoring for zoning to the east. What has changed? Obi should trust Article to his chagrin. All right, I know APC has nothing good to offer us. Can one tell me a good policy yielding good deeds Buhari brought upon us? Now Tinubu is adding his own. All their eyes are on grabbing and running away with powers, but know nothing to do with it. Go to my village in Imo State. Fulani killer headsmen are everywhere, while Uzodinma is in Abuja. Peter Obi should go for a good coalition. Who knew Labour Party before Obi joined them? Unstable people. As for Wike, they should rename Nigeria to Tinugeria. Nothing will happen. This country seems... Okay. All right, I have read your message. Thank you very much. Somebody says, take a look at this video. Oh, no time for that. Maybe later. Good evening, Esther and guests in the studio. Obi's, okay, I think I've read this. Hello, Madam Esther. I think the best solution is election reform. The alternative solution is to prevent rigging for Nigerians to come out en masse and vote massively for PO, just like we did in Lagos in the last election, and rigging becomes impossible. Let's do it across Nigeria. Abbey from Oshodi. Good evening, Esther. Thank you. And guests in the house, well done for the great job you do. About APC as a political party, they lack ideology, focus, and human sympathy. APC is a blind party being wrong by one blind man that have no direction. But 2027, let's see. I'm not going to read the rest of your message. I'm so sorry. Nobody you will come put me for hala. Okay, I think we need to be done with this. Let me take this final message. Good evening, Esther Wachiku, the guests and VOP crew. I don't see any measure or coalition that can unseat Tinubu, who is meshed with security agencies, INEC and judiciary. Let's have electoral reform that guarantees a near descent, free, fair, and credible election. Something close to what Professor Humphrey Umosu did in 1993. Nigerians knows what they want. On YouTube, I greet you all. Thank you. That's Chuka Ekwe. MC Ralph Comedy. Good evening to you all, my VOP family. My name is MC Rochas, also known as Comedy. This is my first time commenting. It's time for us, the people, to take back our country. Love, peace, and unite. God bless VOP. Thank you. Obed Oji. Yes, it's good to give time. It's good to be patient, but within 2 years, there's nothing that can be attributed to this administration that has affected positively the people of this country. Beautiful Senator Natasha, this is just the beginning. Obed Oji, okay? What is happening here? Work is happening here. Any coalition without Obi in 2027 as a presidential candidate is dead on arrival. It's good to be patient and give Tinubu time, but it's not good for Tinubu to have been patient not to buy a private jet. Okay. What's your final take, Mr. Shagun?
Very quickly, I think that we need to understand, all of us, that look, the people that are saying that because of judiciary, because of INEC, because of security agencies, 2027 elections is already determined, they're correct. However, it's also important to note that even if you have electoral reforms, if Nigerians don't stand up and show the politicians that they're tired, nothing will still change. So yes, let's fight for electoral reforms. Let's compel them, because they won't do it. Somebody has already said they won't do it by themselves. So let's compel them via whatever means. And I think protest is the only thing that I can think of right now. A protest that shuts the country down, and all we're asking for is genuine electoral reforms. Right? So if we do that and then stand up and defend our votes in 2027, coalition does not matter. Nigerians know what they want.
In a minute, please. What's your final take?
Now, my final take is that it is the people that fight for good governance. It is not the people in government. Because the people in government, they have everything, they have the resources and everything. If you don't fight for it, that you want good governance, they will not give you governance. So countries that are working, it's because people there, they always fight for good governance. They monitor their leaders, they fight to get good governance. Now, don't wait for 2027. Right. Don't wait for INEC to do reform. Because the problem is that by the time it is 2027, it will be too late. You'll be waiting for another 4 years. You start it now. The people will start fighting for that better Nigeria from now. It's even getting too late. It's supposed to have been like how many, like 40 years ago.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone past the hour of 9 o'clock. It's 12 minutes past 9. Make sure that you have a wonderful evening. Let's continue to ensure that positively Nigeria will be better, and we'll continue to hold our leaders accountable to their responsibility to the people who actually voted them. We're hoping that this electoral reform will actually go through, because 2027 is a major turning point, and the right thing needs to be done so that Nigerians can enjoy the dividends of democracy. Have yourself a wonderful evening. My name is Esther Wachuku. Bye for now. See you tomorrow, and happy Democracy Day in advance.
Chineke.